Hey, what's going on, everybody? Good morning. Let me see if I can make a thing real fast. A goddamn thing. He's got to make a thing. Okay. What is up, everybody? Let me give some love to Tracy first in there. Tyler, Kendall Hill, SJ is here. What up, buddy? Ricky, Shred Bear, DeBerry Joe, Hates Packing. EJ's in here. Conway J. I think I got most of you guys. I think I got you all. We did it.
Ask Conway J why they no more Conway Wipeout.
Somebody got SA'd, didn't they?
How'd they get rid of it? You know, because
you can't get rid of my party. Conway J, we're doing it. We're doing it. Unsanctioned. Jay, you heard the man. Why did they? Somebody got sexually assaulted, I bet, and they had to shut it down, and we're bringing it back.
Well, all the houses around there, they're like, our house costs $1 million. We do not want this in our lake. We do not want every local redneck and drunk frat boy to be congregating and peeping our lake up. And
it's loud. Oh, man, it's loud. Remember when Jana Banana was like the Grand Marshal?
Yeah.
And I don't think she knew what she was getting into because she was the classiest person there, right?
Well, remember when we went there? And like it was the amount.
I remember my anxiety was fucking pegged. And everyone's like, there's naked women.
How'd they get so many boats? Like we went through
know.
Jay's boat ramp, but how'd the other boats? Because there's not enough boat parking to even fit that many boats.
But they did it.
Yeah, there was a shit ton of boats.
And then
out
I remember we got there, and people that seemingly knew who we were like, "Here, Tom," and they tied us up. And then we got out, and we got instantly in the water, and I got in, and immediately it smelled like piss, and it was hot because everybody standing there had been there for hours, and they're just pissing. Everyone's just pissing, and drinking and pissing. And then I videoed some girls shaking their ass. I put it on YouTube. It to this day, it's our highest rated video. It has nothing to do with us. It's just some old river hags shaking their leathery asses. Okay, Conway J says, guys are getting $120 sound violation tickets now at the sound bar for blasting music too loud. Well, good to see you guys. Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm about to do a weird job. There's a new Apple Watch out I saw, but I don't think they have my model of Apple Watch, which is older.
Hello,
it's the Apple Watch Ultra.
From Tom and Dan. Good.
Oh, Ricky, did they finally put them out? So are they close to the leaks that people had? Because man, the leaks were terrible.
Right, I appreciate you doing this, and I'll put you on hold.
This is a non-listener, Fat Slob. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, put it in the guest. If you check the guest thing, it does say that our guest is a non-listener. What line, buddy?
1.
Hey, Jordan, can you hear us okay?
Yep, I can hear you.
Awesome. I'd like to congratulate you on being the first person to have a clean phone line in the last 6 weeks of doing this. And thank you for your service.
You're welcome.
Because, listen how clean that is. Listen to that, Tom.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, my God. It is literally an internet miracle that we have clean phone lines. Because Tom was last week. You were so mad, and we were about to spectrum these things out the door, right? You were about to make me cancel.
we decided to do the Zoom, and then it's funny when I was calling him, I was like, "Oh shit, I forgot about the Zoom. We should have done a Zoom." And then I was like, it's going to be a...
We change things, Jordan, we change things for the better for our show all the time, but we forget we made the change, and we just do it the same way.
A week later.
Yeah, okay, so hold on, and I got to warn you, there will be a little song that plays the Weird Job Wednesday theme song. I try to write a new one every week. Sometimes I throw some jokes in there, so just be, word of warning, okay?
Oh, no. Sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Hold on. All right, Tom.
Oh, what'd you put in there?
I don't,
In the song.
don't worry about it. Hold on. We can't. What kind of show you want to start doing? What are we, PBS over here? You want to do a PBS show, don't you? No, you don't. You're too conservative for that. You want to hack funding. You want to doge them. You want to doge them on out of here.
Oh, what are they even doing?
That's what I say. You know how hard it was for me to live when my wife worked at PBS? Oh, good. No, I'm kidding. I liked it. All right. We are ready to go. Mr. Van, you start. Here we go.
Sesame Street. Like yelling Sesame Street.
It does sound racist when you yell it. Okay.
The elephant is a dope head.
They're eating the elephants. They're eating the big birds. Okay, here we go. 3, 2.
Welcome to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We're live on Twitch and YouTube, and you can check us out, and you can be here while we're live. Just search at Tom and Dan Live. Basically, everything on social media is that, and podcasts are now shows. So if you want to watch our show, just head on over to YouTube and search at Tom and Dan Live.
Also, we're doing the Just Call Mo Tom and Dan Skate-a-thon. That's happening July 12th. You can sign up at justcallmo.com/skate. And you have to sign up because it is filling up. And Mo has rented out the Cimarron Skateway.
Yeah.
And for 2 hours on July 12th. So there is a limit, a capacity.
There will be, yeah.
This family.
We have a meeting today. We have
Yeah.
a meeting. We have to go down there, and I noticed Busdecker was a little worried about us. Did you notice that? He's been texting us all morning, making sure we're going to show up. It's like, we're the most reliable
He's
people.
the one that doesn't show up.
Exactly.
We show up everywhere.
You know what I thought? And I'm just going to say it, and maybe this is going to hurt his feelings. When I saw the text come through on my computer, I was like, he's rescheduling. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. You don't want that reputation, man.
At this point, Tom and Dan are
reliable.
I mean,
my God.
We'll be there when you.
We'll be there for a second. The little one's hip falls out. He'll be there. He'll be there dressed as a goddamn hamster man. Tom, what is he saying? Got coronavirus? He's there.
I'll be out coughing your face.
That's a Tom Van guarantee. All right, it's Weird Job Wednesday time, and we have a new. A thing that you like for me to do, because I kind of feel like you were, it was like your way of kicking the hornet's nest. You're like, this guy's not doing enough around here. So you're like, hey man, I need you to write a new song every week for these Weird Job Wednesdays. You can't just play the old theme song. I want an original song each week. So in order to appease you, the grand conductor, I have created a brand new Weird Job Wednesday theme song. Are you ready?
Well, I've literally gone full AI at this point.
Yeah.
I asked Daniel, I was like, ask AI what we should do today. I'm like, ask AI how to make more money. Like, let's see what it says.
It started doing it.
Yeah, then I read some and the ideas are good.
Now, I have one rule when we do these. You have to write, they have to be written by me. They can't be written by AI. That's how you get horrible songs. So, without further ado, a brand new Weird Job Wednesday theme song, perfectly tailored for the person that's currently on the line. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you my new song called Fat Slob Paintball.
I like to go play paintball just like a little kid. Not good enough for the army. They said I was too big. When God invented paintball, he opened up the door for big fat slobs to yell hurrah while pretending they're at war. Fat slob paintball, you better check your hopper. Post up in the bushes with the goddamn double whopper. Fat slob paintballer, you can't run, but every weekend you swear you're having fat slob paintball. Whoa,
Come on.
Fat slob paintball.
There's nothing.
All right, let's go. The bottom drops out at the end there. So like it's a hard ending.
Now the gentleman on the line is not a listener. It's Zach from Ohio's buddy.
You didn't tell me that.
Well, I put out a post on the BDM page looking for some weird jobs, and I was like, I'd like to talk to someone that's been either a professional paintball player or in that world, a semi-pro,
Well,
you know.
I mean,
And
you're
then
in
Zach
luck.
from Ohio
You're
knew his
in
buddy.
luck. I mean,
but he's not,
let me
he's
tell you
not a
something.
listener, so it's
Let me tell you
insulting.
something. Fat Slob Paintball, you better check your hopper. Post up in the bushes with a goddamn double whopper is the line of the decade. I wrote that on the toilet here at the studio.
I'm sorry, Jordan. How you doing, Jordan?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Good,
Good,
man.
yeah.
Are you posted up in the bushes with a goddamn double whopper?
No.
I'm ready, man. I'm totally ready. That was an incredible intro.
Thank you. Thank you.
No,
Somebody finally knows talent around
Well, I should
here.
explain to Jordan we do this segment called Weird Job Wednesday. We've been doing it for a damn 10 years now, and it somehow just turned into Fat Slob.
I don't know.
It's
No one
only
knows.
Slob now.
Yeah,
It
no
has
one
nothing
knows.
to do with job.
Now we just have our listeners call
yeah.
in and they tell us what they do, and then I insult them with a song about how fat they are.
Now, okay, so Jordan, how you doing?
I'm doing well, guys. Doing well.
So let's talk paintball. So I know that you weren't totally professional, but you were in semi-pro. You were up higher up in the ranks of paintball. So let's talk about it. How high did you get?
So it's kind of an interesting thing because I played kind of in multiple different leagues. So like in our main league, I only got up to like D4 speedball, but then we kind of started playing this classic format that kind of really kind of came back from the dead. It was like 10-man, more classic, where you're kind of like in the woods. And so when we played it, it's called the Iron City Classic. At least that's one of the tournaments. When we started playing that, that's basically like it's an open division. So like we were playing against other like literal professional teams at that point. So the skill ceiling went real crazy at that point.
Oh, I bet. I mean, so you're playing like. Would you have been considered an amateur class, or because you're playing against the pros, it's just sorry you're in that class, you're all pros at this point?
I mean, at that point it's all open, but like I would consider myself definitely in that amateur class overall.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
So Jordan, let's go back because
How'd you get the itch, man?
I used to play paintball in the 90s. Back when they were still called paintball guns, not markers. Remember when that happened?
We got weaker when we did that.
yeah. It's a gun.
Yeah, you know what markers
Paintball
are?
gun.
You know what you do with markers? You sniff them. That's what you do. The markers, the ones you sniff them and you get high.
And my first paintball gun in the 90s.
Wait, what's more embarrassing, this story you're telling or my song?
Well, my first paintball gun in the 90s was a VM68, and I remember I had
That's a hand crank, right?
Yeah.
It was a gun that came out right after. There was only pump guns before that.
Right.
Like everything was a Tipman pump gun.
Is this like listening to your grandfather? Because you're on a phone, too. You're not even Zoom audio. You're not even Zoom audio. You're on a phone right now talking to an old man about, what'd you have, a Tickman pump gun?
No,
Back in
Tipman.
my day.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, Jordan, how old are you?
I'm 28.
Oh,
God,
my
yeah,
God,
yeah.
this guy's pecker
Yeah.
still works. Holy crap.
Yeah. So this was.
When'd you get pubes?
So this was literally, I mean, you were being born as when I was playing paintball. Like, I'm talking 96.
Yep.
So I played with the pump guns, and I got my VM68, and I remember
How did you feel when you got that gun? Like, who
I
got it
was
for?
like, this
Did
is
your
the
mama?
future. Oh,
Did
yeah.
Mama Van get it
I got
for
it
you?
for Easter.
Hell yeah. You know what? I'm going to make, using AI for you today, a picture of Jesus Christ holding that gun you got. I'm going to make it into a poster.
And I remember I used to get all my.
He has risen.
There was a local paintball store, but it was in Hialeah. Speak English, so I'd go there and I had to barely communicate with the Cuban guy. But so I got all my stuff off magazines, and I remember I got an attachment from my VM68 that allowed for 2 tanks, 1 tank out the front, it was CO2, and 1 tank out the back. which created a 25-pound paintball gun that when you shot it, it actually recoiled like
cool.
like a real gun. Where it was like cuckoo. And
like a grenade launcher.
It would kick you in the shoulder, like it had a recoil, and this is the hopper didn't have any sort of fan in there feeding the balls. It was all. I mean, like there was no computers whatsoever, and like the best guns in the '90s were mini mags and autocockers.
Yep.
And I remember I finally got a mini mag when I was like, it must have been like 13 or 14, and that was like my prize possession.
You're autococker. Those are our names.
And then it started getting into compressed air and nitrous, and I couldn't afford a nitrous bottle. I was still running CO2.
Yep.
And so anyway, that was Grandpa Paintball.
Okay, he woke back up now.
And then it all became computerized, and I remember like, computers.
You know where the
they don't belong in guns.
The similarities I see here with PSI, with hoses, with air, and with the fact that a lot of this stuff is tried and true, is your paintball guys and your dive guys.
They're similar.
They're very similar in the idea that there are some old timers that will be having, that tipman. They'll have that gun now, and they're still using it because it's still a workable, fine gun.
So
for sure.
Jordan, let's talk about the modern day paintball gun.
Ooh, yeah.
What are we talking? What brand is it?
What do you have?
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, a lot of the guns these days, I think paintball technology in general has kind of like streamlined, and all the top brands are kind of narrowing the market to like the same sort of thing. Things have definitely gotten lighter. They're not 25 pounds anymore, so that's cool.
They all look the same.
Yeah.
Jordan.
But also most young boys, which is the target audience, are very weak. So the guns need to be light. I mean, light as bird bones.
When I played, so my favorite brand was Planet Eclipse. They've been around for a while. And honestly, most of the guns these days, at least like if you're getting into like honestly, even the lower end now, they're all kind of the same, but the higher ends are usually made of like machined aluminum. They're pretty lightweight. They don't really have those like macro lines or hoses anymore. Everything is just like, you screw in your tank basically at the grip, and the air actually goes through the frame of the grip.
Wow.
So there's no hoses or anything. They're super efficient. There's electronics in them now. You can change all of your settings and all that stuff. And also most of them now are like all spool valve markers. So essentially what that means is like all of your bolts and everything is basically in one assembly. And all you have to do is basically pop out a back cap, and the entire assembly comes out, and you can clean it really fast and easy. So the maintenance on the things is just way, way, way more streamlined now. And at this point, the technology, like pretty much all the high-end markers are built that same way. And it's really just a matter of like preference and feel. Some people are like, oh, I prefer Planet Eclipse, or I prefer Dye, or I prefer, MacDev, whatever it is. But yeah, the technology is really, I think, kind of peaked, and at this point, we're just shaving off, little bits of efficiency and things like that.
Yeah.
That's where it's at now.
So back in my day when I had my mini mag, it was extremely complicated to the point
you had no business running it, right? Like
I had an expansion chamber. I had lines coming out of everywhere, like tiny lines.
It looked like Bane.
I remember I had this thing that I bought it used at the paintball store. It was called the Magic Box, and they're like, oh, this makes it better. I had no idea what it did.
You need the Magic Box. So the man in Hialeah who spoke, and you spoke no Spanish, sold you a magic box.
Yeah. And then that attached to the side of the mini mag, and then they're like, "Oh, you got to get the expansion chamber." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
What did it do though?
Yeah, no idea. no one had any idea. It was before information. You understand?
Right.
Like no one knew. There was no way to find out anything.
Vet these products.
Yeah. It was all the word of mouth. Like there was no internet. There was nothing. Like there's a guy at the paintball store, and then the people in the woods.
Right.
That knew. Like that was it.
Yeah. When you play, do you carry just like one main gun, or do you carry more than one gun, or like how does that work?
So in the formats I played, I mean, you typically only have, your one marker, and then basically depending on the format, you're carrying anywhere between like 8 to 12 pods in your pack. Like it depends how much you plan on shooting or like what position you're playing. I mean, I've seen back guys go out there with, I don't know, it's ridiculous. They'll have like 15 pods in their pack or something insane if they're playing back, because they're just trying to like hold lanes, just lay down paint. And then like more of like your forward players will probably take something like 6 or 8, like those guys that are going into like the snake or something like that. But yeah, basically just one gun and then just whatever kind of paint you need to carry in your pack.
Gotcha.
So Jordan, let's talk about the two types of paintball people, right? And because when I used to play, there's the
fat ones,
no.
and then there's active real paintball guys.
There was the woods guys, they're woods guys, and then they're the tournament, like I call them blow up barrier, within they're like basically where you play with blow up.
Are those like worlds colliding, right? You've got one guys that want to be like Napoleon, and he's like, we got to flank him on the left.
Well,
and then the other guy just wants to shoot as much paint as possible, and he's like, I'm a future man.
Like in Ocala, Jordan, I know you're up north, but down here in Florida, there was this place called was it like Wally World or
Wally World?
And it was just a gigantic wooded area that they used to do like almost army games. And I remember my stepdad took me and my buddy Eric in a conversion van up to Ocala.
Yeah, it's Wayne's World of
Wayne's
Paintball.
World, yeah.
Wayne's World of Paintball.
And and then basically, and it was like, two gigantic groups of paintball players against each other, and there was like platoons, and it was very army adjacent.
They do this thing called the grand finale, and it's December 5th, 6th, and 7th of 2025, and it's like a camp out.
And a lot of old guys were in that, and the competitive players were all fit and young.
No
and
different than a Civil War reenactment.
yeah.
No different. In fact, it's a little bit cooler than a Civil War reenactment.
So when you were playing, Jordan, is it the same way still?
Yeah, so basically your two biggest formats, there's the woods ball, which, is usually played like in the woods, or it's like, just some sort of wooden plywood bunker stuff they've kind of thrown together. Or then you have speedball, which is what you were describing, where they play on like sometimes even like turf fields with the inflatable bunkers. Just two different styles of play. Obviously the woods ball is what gets all the rentals in, and honestly, woods ball is like where I started. The first time I ever played, I just played in the woods at a local field here in Ohio. I played just recreationally in the woods for, I think the first time I went out, I was probably like 12 years old or something. Played for years, kind of took a break in college, and then coming out of college, I really got serious, and that's when I started playing the speedball pretty regularly, got on a team, and that's kind of what led to everything going from there. And so it's kind of preference, I guess.
Now I'm reading here that you actually met your wife via paintball. How'd that work out? I made that up. That's never happened in the history.
I was like, no.
That was just to make Tom laugh.
Well, back to I don't know if it changed, but back in the 90s, there were no girls. Not at all.
It was the place you go to stay away from women. It's the paintball field. It's like all the incels are there. It's like no women have ever set foot
Not
there.
one.
Not even one.
Yeah. Was that still the case, Jordan?
Yeah, there's I would say these days, like especially in the speedball scene, I think it's becoming more open. Like I see more female players out there. In fact, I mean at the top level of the sport, there's a whole because the current league that is like the highest league in the country is the NXL. They have a whole like women's NXL, like a full suite of pro teams that are all female teams. It's really cool. Actually, one of my maybe you should have talked to her. One of my coworkers at my work actually plays on one of those teams.
Hold on, give us her number. We'll call her right now.
Yeah.
Anything would be better than this, dude.
I say
I'm
that-
joking. That's a joke. I'm joking. I'm joking. That's a joke.
I say that my sister played paintball.
She's good.
And I remember she had the
She said
Eclipse.
she told me she's better than you.
So Jordan, how fast can the current day paintball guns shoot? Because not to keep going back to what I remember, but when I was playing, like I remember I first got a double finger trigger. And on my mini mag, and it allowed me to shoot faster because I had
Twinkle Tommy. Laying some paint down.
And now
he'd lay paint during the day, and at night the ladies called him Twinkle Fingers
because it was all mechanical. And literally, you had to pull the trigger to like activate like a stick that.
Oh my God! It was truly a mechanical.
And the stick behind the trigger actually activated the bolt that shot each bullet. Right. So it was how fast can you pull the trigger, and now it's all computerized, right?
Yeah, so essentially now for most of the electronic guns, they have basically like a circuit board in them. But for and as far as they can shoot, you can go in there and set it, and like you can get upwards of like 20 balls a second if you want. But for most like tournament formats, everything is capped at 10.5 balls per second ramping. So essentially what that means is basically once you start pulling the trigger, and the triggers are really nice now. They're like you can adjust. There's like a magnet, and you can adjust the trigger feel. So if you want a really light trigger pull, you can get that. You can make it stiffer, whatever you want. But essentially, you basically, once you pull the trigger, the first few shots are like semi-automatic. But if you maintain that, the amount of times you're pulling the trigger, the board will take over, and then it'll start shooting fully automatic at 10.5 balls per second until you stop pulling the trigger. So that's pretty much the current format across most tournaments
that's
now.
Wild. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot.
10 balls a second.
Yeah. And the fact that that's not
it doesn't even seem possible.
And that's only half of what you said you can ramp that thing up to do.
Yeah, you can get really fast on some of the guns if you go into the thing and change the settings. And even back in the day, I mean, the 10.5 rule kind of took effect. I want to say it started to take effect in like the 2010s. Back in the day, like it was even much faster. Like that's when people were using guns like Angels and stuff, and they'd have little cheater boards and stuff in there to get it past the refs, and just it was insane. So
I do love some cheating. I love some cheating.
But also, people don't realize that if they don't know anything about paintball, the hoppers, because you're like, what, 20 balls a second, you're like, that seems impossible. The hoppers would have basically these mechanical things inside them that would essentially
feeding the balls in.
Feed the balls faster. Like I remember when I had it in the 90s, it was just like a kind of a fan in there that turned.
Yeah.
They would just mix up the balls so they
kind of jumbles them.
Yeah, they wouldn't get stuck in there, so that the gravity, there's gravity fed. But then it got even more advanced where something was actually pushing them down into the gun, right?
Yep, and that's kind of where the hopper technology is now. Is if you're going to shoot that fast, you need to have an electronic hopper. And you're right, they basically like keep a force feed on the stack, so you're always getting a ball in there. Because obviously, if you can't keep up, you're going to get what's called chopping, right, where the ball doesn't feed fast enough, or it feeds partially, and then your bolt basically clips that within the gun, and then your gun's just completely gunked up with paint. So yeah, they're all electronic now, and they can keep up with that 10.5 like easily.
So, Jordan, also, how much is a case of quality paintballs nowadays compared to because I think it got cheaper because in the 90s they were like this marbleized, like the best paintballs.
Well, some places make you buy their balls, right?
Yeah, but they were like this. They were made in Missouri. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure eventually they all got made in China now.
Homegrown, made in Nashville, Tennessee. Like, what?
But they were back like when I was playing, like a good quality case of paintballs was like $80 to $100, and it was expensive.
Yeah, very expensive.
And this is the 90s
Even
money.
I remember going, you'd have to buy the ball balls when you'd go.
Yeah,
As
yeah.
a kid, I remember my dad complained about paintball. So expensive. you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
For a birthday party or something.
So is it what's the cost now? Did they get cheaper?
I would say in general, it's I don't know. The price is kind of sort of consistent across the board. So like you're talking like your super like high end paint. Like if you were just going up to a field and you're like, hey, I want the best you have. Honestly, you're pretty accurate there. I think that's going to run you probably like 80 or 90 bucks for a case of like 2,000. However, you can get like most of the field paint that you'll play with or practice with. I mean, maybe $40 a case. It depends on the field, honestly. And sometimes if you play at that field and you're sponsored like by them or whatever, you could drop that to maybe like 30 bucks for a case of like practice paint, which really the only difference in the levels of paint is like the higher tier paint is just a little bit more brittle. So it's going to break more often when you hit somebody. But honestly, when we went and played tournaments, you would be using that high tier paint, but because you're buying in bulk, because it's a tournament and they know every team's going to be buying, dozens of cases to play that day, really you're probably looking at like maybe like 50 bucks a case when you go to tournament for like a 5-star level paintball, essentially.
Gotcha. Now, where have we entered into any point in paintball where I can load up a drone with a big balloon of paint and fly it over you guys as you're standing there and drop it on you, and you're mad as hell. Now, you could shoot my drone with your paintball. Like
They have paintball drones.
Do they have paintball drones?
Yeah.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they do, but I personally haven't seen one. But I think that's probably the next thing that's coming to those big woods ball scenario games.
Yeah.
You gotta have a drone.
Be on the lookout.
Yeah, you gotta have a paintball drone.
I know back in the day they used to have a tank, which was like just a golf cart with wood around it.
It's fun, man. It's fun. Come on.
And it would drive through.
We're killing time here.
But so Jordan, it seems to me that for speedball, I'm like, what makes a good paintball player? Like, what makes the best paintball player? And to me, it's all about athleticism because you like, let's say it's a 5 versus 5 speedball, right? So they both like the inflatable barriers are both set up on both sides equally, so no one has an advantage of what side you start on. But you do have an advantage in how fast you can get to a particular bunker, so you have a good angle on people.
Right.
So it seems like when they all run out, the person that can get to the furthest bunker the fastest without getting hit has an advantage, and that just is athleticism, you know, like the fastest sprinter. So is it that and mixed, because there's a cap on how everybody has about the same gun speed, so they're all shooting 10 balls a second.
Yeah, pretty even at that point.
And then really you're shooting essentially a machine gun, so your accuracy doesn't have to be that good. So is it all about athleticism?
Well, I would say that's pretty accurate. Like, obviously, the more athletic you are in general.
Hold on. You have to say that was a good question. That's what he prefers. Could you place?
I mean, it is. But
thank you.
The answer is kind of interesting because, if you're young, you're fast, obviously getting to those better positions, getting up the field is going to be better, because then the further you get up the field, the better bunkers you take, the more angles you're going to have, right? And so field control is big, but it's funny because a lot of like the higher up in, I guess, skill you get or just field awareness or whatever, I would say the other half of the game is like right off the break is the guys that really can dial in like where they need to lane. Because like it doesn't matter how fast or athletic you are, if a guy knows where you're going to run through or the path you're going to take and he can get his gun like right in that lane, you're basically just going to run into his stream of paint like on your way through. Like, so sometimes it's more about like just that, like, I guess that sixth sense that some of the more like veteran players have, where they can kind of look at the field and be like, all right, off the break, I know where these guys are going to go, so I'm going to hold those lanes. And half the time they'll get maybe 1 or 2 guys like off break, and then you have a numbers advantage regardless. And it doesn't take much athleticism to have that kind of, I guess, paintball IQ if you will.
Yeah.
So
just like soccer or football or anything else, you lose a step, you damn sure better know that you know what's happening on the field. So yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
Makes sense.
Also, like, I wanted to ask you about like the best paintball players, the pros that are there people making a living doing this?
And hopefully they're not as goofy as bowlers and dart guys. Like, you guys get goofy and wear like mohawks and act stupid.
How much money can you make playing paintball? I think what hurts paintball a lot is it's way more fun to play than to watch. Like, every once in a while, ESPN will televise like the World Championships of paintball, and it's not that entertaining because people don't understand it's all kind of the same, and everybody's, like you said, laying down streams of paint, trying to cut off corners. It's become super technical, and the average viewer is just like, like it all looks the same.
Yeah.
Like there's,
If they did it nude, people would watch. that won't happen.
So I know I asked you a lot, but try to answer.
No, I mean, that's been a problem that's kind of, I don't think paintball's figured it out, is how to make it more watchable. I think that's just a problem they're going to continue to have unless they start, just expanding the amount of cameras or things. I don't know what that solution is, but as far as the pros these days, there's definitely a lot of the high-level guys can make a living. Some of the high-level teams do. It's quite literally almost like, the NFL draft, where like they'll literally, in the off season, they'll be making player swaps and, paying guys a literal, salary to come play for the team for the season. And then also some of those guys will get, sometimes there's like a little bit of kickbacks, if they're from like sponsors, but a lot of them will also make money just like diversifying and doing different things. Some will like get paid to coach like lower level teams. Some will, some of the pros like run different podcasts and things like that that they do. But some of the top level guys, I think with everything accounted for, they're probably clearing, I'd say, over $100K a year. It just depends on the player, I guess. And
that's pretty good for loving paintball.
Yeah, for most guys, though, for most people in the game, they have day jobs.
Right.
Paintball just is not. It doesn't pay the bills, really.
Also, Jordan, there's nothing that I could guess would be worse to listen to than a paintball podcast. I'm just saying it. It sounds terrible. Yeah. I would hate to listen to. Oh my God, what are you gonna talk about?
Well, it's paintball themed, but really they just start talking about whatever.
They just get into politics.
It's just them dudes talking. Yeah, and I imagine nowadays it's more like you make your money like a social media influencer, where there's a little bit of like product endorsement stuff, and then it's like.
What about signature series? Do they do those anymore? Like.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of like some of those pros. They'll have like their quote unquote like signature series guns that come out. Like, so typically, whatever team they're playing for, there's probably a primary sponsor that like, okay, that team's all shooting, Planet Eclipse or whatever it is. And then at some point in the year, they'll come out with a signature series, which is just, the top end gun. And then it's like a specific like anodizing that player designed, essentially.
Gotcha. Yeah, and like a skin. Yeah. It's no different than a skin in Fortnite. Are there any Are there any famous people that play paintball that we know of that like are maybe like that you know of because you're in it, that you're like, oh, geez, Louise, I didn't know Vern Troyer from
Vern Troyer.
I didn't know before he passed away he was a bit of a paintballer.
No, I mean, I don't know of any like just outside famous people that play it at a high level. I mean, most of the personalities have built their following from playing for so long. I mean, a lot of the guys, like, I don't know if you knew of the team when you were playing like San Diego Dynasty, like they were like the team. Like that was like the team, and
it sounds like a ladies basketball team, right? the San Diego Dynasty. We had the Miracle here in town.
But a lot of those guys are still playing, like guys like Ryan Greenspan, like Marcelo Margot, and all these guys that have been playing for literal decades. Like, they're still around. They're still kicking.
Did you say Charlemagne the God?
No. His name's Marcelo Margot. But
okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that have been playing for decades that are still in the game, and honestly, a lot of them have moved into like, I feel like a lot of things. Something else that happens to players that have played at a high level for a long time is they just kind of get into the industry themselves. So a few of those guys are like actively working at, you know, these big paintball companies in some capacity. So like, kind of circular, I guess, but you know,
it's cool. It's definitely it's very unique and definitely one of the weirder ones that we've had.
Last question, Jordan, is are barrel plugs still a thing? Because I remember I had a problem with remembering to put my barrel plug in there. Because
you look like a guy that would have a problem putting his barrel plug in.
Because like once you go into the arena, they are or like the like.
Don't call it an arena. It's like when you say I'm going to launch my boat
or the playing field. Then you take your barrel plug
arena.
out. But once you exit the playing field,
you're in an old man's warehouse.
You have to put your barrel plug in, and the actual venues are real strict with it. They're like, you put your barrel
plug in, Van.
Yeah, they're like, put your barrel plug in. And I remember.
Did you get banned from Wally World?
No, but I remember one time I forgot to put my barrel plug in, and I was just.
You just sprayed bullets crazy.
No. I had my gun on my lap.
Yeah, he likes to stick it down his pants like a real gangster.
And I went to go pick it up, and it shot, and it whizzed by this old man's head.
You blew the Slim Jim out of his hand.
And I'm like, oh man, I almost shot this old man right in the eyeball. And then like I remember like he didn't like everybody kind of looked around and I did that move where I looked behind me. I was like, where did I come from?
Yeah, you did a who farted.
Yeah. So is that still a thing, or is now technology made it where you just press a button and then like your gun lights up red and it can't shoot anymore? You know?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you definitely, your gun, if it's electronic, it definitely turns like on and off like that. But yeah, all fields are still really strict about that. Everybody has to use, you know, a barrel cover when they're coming off from the field. So that has not changed whatsoever.
You get a novelty one though, right?
Oh yeah.
Like,
I forgot they turned into a cover with a rubber band, and I used to have an old school plug, big plastic fluorescent green plug that I jammed in there.
Like a wine stopper, like your grandma's wine stopper.
How accurate are they now as far like because it was wild back in the day, like some balls would shoot straight, and then if one broke in the barrel, they'd start shooting
right angle shot.
They'd start shooting in corkscrews, like they'd go off to the left, and then you'd have to whip the paint out of the barrel, stick it back in. So how accurate are they?
So they're still like the accuracy is still roughly the same. That all comes down to the quality of the paint that you're using, because the more consistent, you know, spherical the paint is, the better it's going to fly. Like you get a lot of that, like the corkscrews and the weird shots when you get a ball that's got like dimpling or something like that. So the barrel only really, like the barrels and stuff only really help you to a certain extent. It's really about the quality of the paint you're shooting. Like if you get a bad batch of paint, you're going to have a rough time. But if you get a good batch, it's like, oh shit, like I'm shooting ropes, like I'm ball on ball right now.
Don't say shooting ropes.
That's some paintball jargon.
No, but that's also jargon in other areas. You cannot say shooting ropes.
No. That's what the cool paintballers say.
The paintball slang there, yeah.
And it still will leave, like, you know, you get it hurts when you get hit by a paintball, like it'll leave.
That's why I was kind of thinking, like when he was talking about how the ladies teams, I would imagine that they have to kind of, you know, worry about their chest a little more than we would, because it's a little more delicate. So
you get shot in the neck. Any bad injuries you've ever had, Jordan? Accidentally got shot in the face or anything? I remember back in the day, the tough guys would wear just the goggles and leave their face exposed.
It's like a hockey player with no face mask.
And I remember there was this tough old man back in the woods we used to play.
I love the taste of paint.
And he just wore like Oakley blades. And I remember me and my buddy Eric used to try to shoot him.
They called him the Duster.
And he would run around. He had a handgun. I remember like he was some crazy Vietnam vet, and we tried to shoot him in the cheeks.
Oh my God.
They called him the Duster, or Mr. Cheeks. Mr. Cheeks.
Yeah, I mean, it still can hurt depending where you get hit. I think the worst I've ever experienced was there was a time where
Directly in the anus.
yeah, there was a time where so nowadays you do have to wear like a full mask. You can't just wear the goggles. But I remember
see what they're doing.
Yeah,
They're taking
yeah.
all the freedom out of it.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I remember I took one like kind of like on the side where like just the edge of the mask was, so it basically like split the paintball in half, and the shell basically like sliced into my cheek, and I was like literally like bleeding from it.
That's
it was
what
really
Tom
strange.
tried to do to the duster.
Yeah.
Shoot him in the cheek.
And then there was this one time, I don't know what happened exactly, but we were practicing in Columbus, and this guy came and it like bunkered me like really close, like we're talking just like a foot away, like on the shoulder, and the hit itself didn't like feel any worse than usual, but I had a welt that probably stayed there. Like the mark from it stayed on my shoulder for probably like 8 or 9 months before it finally faded away.
I
It was
still
crazy.
have a mark on my back from paintballing.
Yeah, I got one in my chest.
Yeah, I have a mark on my back from paintballing. Like I don't even know when. Like monsters. When we were shooting a little person. I have a paintball mark on my back that will not go away. It will be there until I die.
Yeah. And it looks like a half moon. Like the scar is a half moon. It's
It's
weird.
like pink purple.
Well,
Yeah.
Jordan, thanks so much for taking the time to tell us about paintball today.
Yeah, great job, man. We really appreciate it.
I'm
Oh,
gonna
thank you guys.
try to push my sons into getting a paintball so I can get back out on it.
I think you would like it, dude. I mean, you're in good shape now.
no-
So your fitness for paintball would be better than it's ever been because last time you were out there, you were just a sun-kissed drinking kiddo, right?
The problem with Florida paintball is
Hot.
it is blazing hot.
Yeah.
And
You gotta
you're,
play in the winter.
yeah, you're full army. I remember dudes would go out there in full ghillie suits, and
Yeah.
it'd be like 100 in Ocala, and
Because
I'd
you
be
want to
like,
be cool.
You're gonna die out there, old man. Anyway, Jordan, thanks so much for talking to us, dude.
Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it.
All
Yeah,
right,
no
man.
problem.
Take
See ya.
care. See ya.
Oh,
That's pretty
paintball,
cool.
yeah.
So you got the itch now. You kind of want to do some paintball again, huh?
Well, I don't know.
Get the boys out there. See if they like it.
Yeah. I think they're a little too young right now. Like I started when I was like 12, like
Yeah.
right when Jordan started. Like that. That's the age.
It's kind of boring when and I'm follow me with this because I think I did it like when I was young, and then I didn't like it. When the gun is a hindrance and you don't have enough strength to like really
Oh,
carry
you're super heavy.
it sucks.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
sucks. I can remember anything where you go to do it and the thing you're doing is too heavy.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
it's no
It's too
no
hard.
thing.
Yeah,
it's not fun.
But now this super light, all computerized.
be fun.
My sister had this paintball gun even 15 years ago that I couldn't believe how light and how fast
Yeah,
it
I
shot. I
remember
was
you
like, this is
saying it.
crazy. Anyway, all right, we will see you tomorrow.
Awesome. What's up, guys?
Sorry about that. We were running a little late.
Let me save this and then I'll use the restroom.
Good to see you.
Good to see you guys.
Come grab a seat.
Do you guys need a drink or anything?
Yeah, there's water.
Yeah, take it. Yes, anything. Anything is yours.
No, yeah, that's it.
Well, comedians sometimes do, but we don't need it.
Yeah. A lot of people just pouring us these bottles that no one ever drinks. It's been sitting here for a long time.
Oh, true. It's good to know it's there, though, you know?
Yeah. It looks like
It's all about the look of it, I guess.
You know? Great
Only
place
that
here,
wasn't
by
the
way.
case. What was that?
Yeah, I said great place here. This is cool.
Oh, thanks. I thought you'd been here before.
I haven't.
Last time we saw you on site then. Very good to see you guys. Sorry, I have to save these
No,
files and
No worries.
I
Yeah,
get
last time was in Melrose.
Yeah. Exactly.
it all runs together. I know Chim's been here before. Many times.
Yeah, the pinball machine's new.
You
Oh,
know, hit it before you leave. It's really cool. It's a little harder than we had Godzilla. Let me turn your mics on so you can hear yourself.
I'm wondering, does this go down?
It
or-
does.
Yeah.
It
don't
but
wanna-
it.
this
Tom,
way.
help her out with it. These
Thank
things
you.
are.
I don't want to break it.
No,
Okay,
it's already
perfect.
broken. That's the problem.
Perfect. Thank you.
We'll be fixing these later today.
Test.
Oh yeah, that sounds pretty good. Let me
Okay.
give you a little more, actually.
Yeah.
There we go.
That was good.
And
Okay.
if you need more, the amp behind you, you can.
Okay.
I wish we had facilities as nice as yours, but
Well, I don't know. I think your
we've
your
done a
space
lot.
is pretty good.
We've done a lot with a little. It looks pretty. Yeah, that one's broken too. These
It is now.
I will say the listeners told me when I bought
Mic check,
those.
mic check.
They're like, we do not want you to buy those mic arms. They're trash. And I said, nah, I know better than you, and I bought them. And they said, why'd you buy them, Dan? They're gonna crap out on you. And they didn't crap out as quickly as the listeners said, but they did crap out on us. So I am in the market for
Check.
nicer. Do you have headphones?
I do.
Do you need more?
A little
headphones?
more would be.
Behind you on the little amp, you are knob number 3. So if you'll talk into it, and you should be able to boost yourself up a little bit there. Hopefully it's working. Should be working.
Check. Yep, there we go.
Is that better?
Yes,
Okay,
thank
great.
you.
Well, you got it. Sorry about that.
No worries.
All right, we got that. All right. Both cameras look good. Oh, man. We changed our cameras, too. We upgraded. So with everything, you do a lot of that with upgrading your facility, except you have a lot more people using it, I'm sure.
Yes.
And endless things that are broken, at least for me. It's like always something that is like destroyed. And
It's a continuous
I broke
battle.
it, and it wasn't anything bad. It was just like it gave out.
Yeah.
You know, it was just like,
Things that do that, and then you throw in the public library customers, and
Correct.
things break a little faster.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's all types of people in the library all the time.
Yeah, you've used the sound booths. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Should I refrain from holding up this Red Bull logo?
No.
in
No,
front of the- Okay.
there's that.
You know, it's funny
I was
is that
making
like,
sure.
with us, it's like the way that we used to always, like when we were doing our documentary, the TV, the guy that was doing it would like cover it with a piece of electrical tape, and we're just like, I don't think that matters for us. You know, like I know a lot of people locally listen and everything, but we're not a target for anything like that. If anything, Red Bull would be happy you probably held it up. You know?
They love their promo.
Oh yeah,
everywhere,
and that's
so-
fine
But
because
it-
normally it works the positive way where they'll write us and be like, "No, that was cool. You want some Red
Thank
Bull?"
you.
You know,
Yeah, we'll bring you a
Yeah.
fridge full of Red Bull.
it's never worked the opposite way where it's gone negatively or like where we've gotten like
Good.
But
an
that, I
issue.
think that's an old media
It
thing
is an
when
old
there was
media
less.
thing.
Like now it's I mean,
It's impossible.
Yeah,
There's
it's just-
cameras everywhere.
Yeah, you're right.
a billion
true.
hours of video going out on the internet at all times is impossible
This
to
is
ever
That's a
regulate.
good point. That's a good point. Yeah.
Almost done.
Yeah, I've done a few like emceeing for the Red Bull events, like the breaking events.
Oh yeah,
I would just be jacked up on Red Bull because they're just.
we're gonna have to talk
constantly
about that.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Hold on, flag that in your memory.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you do
What?
the emceeing for the breakdancing competition.
Yeah, I did the nationals, the USA
What?
Nationals a couple years
Yeah.
ago,
Hold
which
that
was
thought.
crazy.
Hold
Crazy.
that
My
thought.
son's a b-boy.
Yeah.
Oh,
hold that
really?
thought.
Yeah.
This
yeah,
is awesome.
I'm involved in that
Yeah.
community.
All
It's all
right.
part of hip hop.
Me and E-Turn, we're
Yeah,
we're,
well, let's start. Let's start.
we're
vibing.
cool.
He didn't know what to say there. I had to-
He's like, "Where?"
Yeah, I
He's
said-
like, wait,
I
something
said-
hip hop.
I said you're vibing,
We
and he's
know.
like, no, we're cool.
Cosign.
All right, Tom, you start, buddy. Here we go.
Yep.
3, 2.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time. So we've been talking about the Melrose Pop Music Festival for a couple of years now.
The third or fourth year that we've actually we bring this to your attention.
This year, it's 2 days,
Yeah.
June 21st and June 22nd. We have Jim Myers here from the Orange County Library System. How you doing, Jim?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
And
Very good.
We have a local hip-hop artist, E-Turn, here. How you doing, E-Turn?
Hello, I'm
Very good
Thank
to see you guys. We were
Thanks for
off
having me.
air doing a little vibing, right?
Yeah.
Getting the feels out. And Tom, you were commiserating with E-Turn about hip hop and hip hop culture, and
Yeah.
namely, your son is a breakdancer.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they call them B-boys.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I'll let you take over,
It's
please.
breaking.
Breaking.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's
Sorry.
breaking. Yeah.
Yes.
He's a b-boy,
Yes.
and E-Turn has hosted some breaking competitions like the Red Bull, the big national, which
That's amazing.
Do you know all the different moves and everything?
I
or you
don't.
do color, and then there's a breaker that's with you, something like that.
Yeah, so well, with Red Bull, they got everything on cards for you, so it's like, and
Oh,
then you
okay.
just add your flavor in. I started breaking a little bit. I know some of the moves. I'm like involved in the community, but I'm not gonna call myself a B girl. I'm just the B.
Yeah.
Just
Tom's in
I-
there. He's a B. You're the L. You
I-
bought linoleum. He's the L. He bought linoleum.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
For your kid to break on?
He opted in,
Yeah.
and he bought it for the whole class. He never gives himself any compliments for the good stuff that he's doing for our hip hop community, and I'm going to give you some
Aw.
love.
See,
you are helping out young b-boys in Orlando.
I've been trying to
Nice.
learn.
and girls.
I've been trying to learn some power because I've been working out.
He
So,
knows,
you know,
he
but
knows the word.
Windmills.
But
and-
my top rock is real bad because I have absolutely no rhythm whatsoever, and I'm so stiff. It's like a
feel you.
robot.
Yeah, it's more
trying
like
to...
real rock.
Top rock's not easy.
Anyway, sorry, Jim. Let's
Yeah.
get off break.
No,
now.
yeah.
What you're
let's-
saying is when people think of hip hop and linoleum, they think of you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, me
when
and
they
me
think of
turn
linoleum,
local.
they think of the punk rock band No Effects, and then they do, in fact, think of Tom. Yeah.
Let's talk about the pop music festival real quick. So let's go over the 2 days, Jim,
Yep.
and E-Turn. I know you're performing the first day on Saturday.
Yeah.
But you're
so-
bringing some friends, I see. Yeah.
And we've been telling people this is a great chance to just explore the library, look at see the Melrose Center if you haven't seen all the awesome stuff that's available to people.
And you're kind of seeing it as a full-blown working venue at that point, which
Yeah.
is what I like. That's the best part for me. Like when I tell people that haven't been there, that don't know what it's about, I'm like, well, this you're going to get to like honestly see it like where, Jim and the staff take it and they just go, here's 10. We're going to put it on a 10. Here's
Yeah.
everything we got for you.
So let's talk about it, Jim.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, this is the third year for the Pop Festival. We started in 2023 as part of the library's 100-year anniversary, and they were doing a celebration of the decades each month.
Yeah.
And June was the 60s, and I think I maybe mentioned this when I was here before. We wanted to do something to, like, as an homage to the Monterey Pop Festival, the famous music festival in the 60s. So we came up with the Melrose Pop Festival. It was wildly popular, and so we brought it back last year. And when we planned it this year, it was originally just a one-day event. We were going to do it on Sunday. E-Turn, a friend of mine and the Melrose Center, kind of approached me and said, "Hey, I'm doing this little tour with Homeboy Sandman."
I was going to ask you if the tour kind of,
Yeah.
And it turned out the only day they were available to do the Orlando area, and you really wanted to do Melrose, which I very much appreciate, was the 21st. So it was like, oh, well, we're going to have the stage set up. Why don't we just make this a 2-day festival? And so that's kind of how it became a 2-day festival this year.
Killer. Yeah, and it is like, again, like I didn't even know that when I was saying it, but yeah, you get to see it as like a full-blown venue on a tour that, now let's segue to the tour. You put together this tour with Homeboy Sandman.
Yep.
Yeah, who I am not familiar with, so tell me how that came about and what he's about.
So he's, underground rapper. He was part of a label called Stone's Throw, which has, I think, Doom. Doom was on that label. MF Doom. Are y'all familiar with?
Yes, very much.
He's, got a cult following in the hip hop world, and even actually outside of that at this point.
It's, I would say, like almost like a pop culture icon. Like I have figurines and people. Yeah,
The
like,
mask.
Yeah. The mask is so iconic at this point. It's like it's bigger than even the human.
Yeah.
Because it still continues.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Wow. So a part of that Stone's Throw Records. And
and he's still like affiliated with them, but then he moved over to a label called Mellow Music Group, which they've got some phenomenal artists, and then he recently started his own label, and I've been a fan for a long time, and he's been touring for quite some time. We've done some shows together over the years. We played South by Southwest together years ago, and then he came to Orlando probably, I'm like, is that 10 years ago already? 8, 10? With Aesop Rock
right
from
on.
Rhymesayers, who's another one of my favorite rappers. He's crazy. And that's when I became even more of a fan of Homeboy Sandman, and we just kind of connected over the years. We had mutual friends, and out of nowhere, as an artist that's trying to get themselves out there, you want to connect with artists where you can kind of get some of their fan base. You can rock shows with them, get on tour with them. So I just kind of kept pushing for that. And he was like, hey, if you book the tour, let's do it. And so a couple of years ago, I booked the first run with him. And since then, I think we've done like 3 or 4 runs. This is going to be like maybe our 5th. We did a crazy 30 city tour last Was that last year? Man, my time's all messed up right
That's
now.
okay.
I'm sorry, y'all. It just
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
like
No.
mushes together.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens, E-Turn. When you were like, it hasn't been 10 years, I do that all the time. I'm like, when
It's
did we start this?
crazy.
Oh, my God. Like, how has it been so long?
Yeah, I mean, you do
Why
get
does
into
the time go by so fast?
Well, speaking of that, a 30-run tour. You know, you're out there. You guys are touring. You're at different venues. Was there a city or a place or some place that completely surprised you in that you're like, wow, I didn't know that this area liked what we were offering, our music, our hip hop, whatever it was. Like, I didn't know we were going to be this well received.
That's a good question.
Well, hold on. We like to celebrate it when anybody says that's a good question. I'd have to put the camera on you, and then I have to put the camera on me.
No, but
The
sometimes.
asker of the good question.
No,
You have yet to ask a good question.
Sometimes guests say that's a good question to give themselves a moment to think
Yeah,
of the
no, that's-
answer.
Right,
That's
because
facts.
it's such a good
Yeah,
question.
No, but sometimes it's confusing question that they say that's a good question to give themselves time to
Dang.
We're
answer the
fighting.
question.
We've been fighting the last month over who's been asking the best questions, and I'm literally killing him. And I've never
What?
asked. I never ask good
No.
questions. The history of this show.
No.
We've been doing this almost 20 years.
No.
He asked all the great questions, but this month I'm like
No.
3-0.
No, she gave you that's a good question to give herself time to figure out the answer,
Okay, well,
which
we gotta ask
means
her.
it was
We gotta-
a
I like it,
bad
and-
question.
And now to have a man explaining it to her, I'm sure she loves that. This is fantastic. Great job.
Oh.
So was there a place that really surprised you that you guys were like, wow, this is not what we thought?
We played in Yuma, Arizona for
Okay.
the first time, and that was interesting. I didn't know what to expect, but it was a pretty big show.
That's
So-
the movie, 310
yeah,
to Yuma.
310 to Yuma.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I really knew about
Me
Yuma.
too. Me too. I was like, oh my god,
I didn't know there was a scene out
enjoyed that
there.
movie. I like cowboy movies, but you know,
Yeah, it's pretty dark.
yeah, very
Pretty
real
dark
sad.
movie.
That's a sad movie.
Yeah.
So, Jim, going back to the Melrose Center, is there, in the years of the Melrose Center, is there any project that you've been surprised that someone came in and did completely at the Melrose Center that you're like, wow, like this
Damn,
person
I was gonna say
utilized.
that's a good question.
That's a fantastic.
Yeah.
This,
that is
this
a good-
person utilized what we have to offer pretty good. You
Because
know,
Tom and I
re-
do get tired of telling people, because we preach you whenever we get the emails from people that are like, hey, my son really wants to start doing music production, yada yada.
Oh yeah.
I
Record a
I'm not gonna say I get
podcast.
tired of saying Melrose Center, but it
Yeah.
is what we say. Like, before you buy anything, I'll give you a real important aside that involves an important person to you and I, Jim Phillips. Legendary broadcaster in this town and radio guy. He went out and bought a bunch of podcasting equipment before he even realized if he wanted to or didn't want to do a podcast. And then his wife emailed me and told me that they returned all the podcasting equipment because he didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
My point is, don't go out there and buy it before you go to a place that's state of the art and try it and see if it's the right fit.
Yeah.
And you know,
Yeah.
and who knows, you may not have to buy it.
Or thinking that all the recording equipment, the studio, all this stuff is a barrier to entry to
Right.
be like, I want to do this, but I can't afford all the. It's like the Melrose, like it just become get your library card.
Yeah,
you
what
know?
kinds of stuff are you guys pull? I mean, everything comes out of there, right? Like, I mean, there's all kinds of crazy projects.
Absolutely, yeah. It's in terms of seeing our regular patrons make use of the space. I guess the best illustration of that, we had a contest last year because of the 10-year anniversary of the Melrose Center, where it was the Melrose Awards, and we invited anybody over the last 4 or 5 years who had created something to enter their project. And we had like 53 entries across like 8 categories. Really amazing stuff. Lots of bands are producing their albums, recording their albums. What we find is it's musicians who come in, they take the free classes, and they learn how to sort of be their own engineer.
Yep.
And then they've got, dedicated time in a really top-notch studio. If I could shout out
Please.
the Melrose Studio, audio studio, we've been nominated for the 2nd year in a row for Best of Orlando Audio Studio. So we're really
Awesome.
pleased about that. And it's a testament to the staff because they're the ones who are the experts. They're the ones that are moving the space forward with equipment upgrades. But yeah,
Wonderful people working there, by the way.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's a big deal. And like, and those people, they, I was talking to Jim a little bit about this, about like stuff breaking in here all the time. It's like, these guys are like there on the front line of helping you and also like kind of taking care of that stuff like it's their baby to make sure that it's going to work for you every single time. That's an important job. It's a lot of wear and tear on this type of, like whatever you want to call it, equipment or computers or.
And we talked about this the last time when we were at the Melrose Center, and just talking about how awesome the recording studio is. Like, I remember a time in the late '90s where my friends were in punk rock bands, and they would save up an entire year and they'd all pull their money together because to record in a studio was $1,000 an hour, and like it was the only way to record a CD or put your music. And you could do it at the Melrose Center for nothing.
Yeah,
for
like even the ways that we used to do it on the cheap have dried up. You used to wait if you were a local Central Florida band, you would wait until Full Sail would have like classes.
I did this.
Yeah, did you do with your band? Yeah.
Well, you got the 2 a.m. slot. You get 3 hours at Full Sail with some students, and you got what you got.
You got what you got. Yeah, and that's not this. This is completely different. This is way more, to me, just way better.
And to learn how to do it yourself too, with the education. It was insane. And then just let's go over real quick some of the things at the Melrose Center that people may not know about. Because still, even though we've been talking about it for years now, people don't realize what's available to them.
Right. So there's really two kind of levels of access to the Melrose Center. If you have an Orange County Library card, you can just take our general orientation, which is very simple. You can do it online. You can find it on our website. It takes about 20 minutes. If you prefer an in-person version, we will give you a tour of the space and answer questions. Takes a little longer. But just taking that orientation will open up the immediate access spaces. So you've got sound booths, a podcast booth, editing bays with Mac computers with Adobe Creative Suite software, other tools. We have a Wacom drawing tablet in one of the bays, a printer, scanner. We have computers with all the access to those software. We have an LED wall that you can check out right away. You just plug your device into it, and that becomes your desktop, and you film yourself in front of it or give presentations. All of that is right away. There's also a rehearsal space that we can check out to you right away. And then there's places that we have that just require a little bit of training. So we offer free classes. That's the audio studio, the photo studio, the video studio. We have tools in the makerspace. We have 3D printers, laser cutters, laser engravers, silhouette vinyl cutters. We have a fiber art studio where we can teach you how to sew and give you open lab time on machines. Flight simulator, driving simulator, VR equipment, laptops to create games.
Also, I just want to give you a compliment.
Available to everybody.
We go through this and we say all the things, but when you do it, the chat room, they like your voice. It's like when you do it, everybody's like,
it's
oh,
soothing,
yeah.
right?
It's very soothing.
It
and you're like,
is.
oh, look at all this stuff we have that we could take advantage of.
Yeah, when I say it, it comes off like a scam.
It does sound very
That's a very scam-like voice.
Call now. It's all free. Call now.
You're like, there's a catch in here somewhere. They're going to arrest me when I show up.
It was the day Jim realized for us not to talk about him. And he's like, I can do this all on my own.
Oh, that's great.
Did I mention it was a good question?
Yeah.
Thank you, Jim. No, that is a great question because, what would you say is the thing that surprises people the most that you guys have there?
Wow.
I'll tell you mine. It was when you told me you had you're like, hey, if you want to learn if you want to cut your teeth on using a backhoe or right? Don't you guys have a?
Well, they get a truck simulator.
Yeah, they have a heavy equipment simulator, right?
Well, we had a forklift and an excavator simulator, but frankly, they were underutilized.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Every time I see them, I'd be like, oh my God, they have a forklift simulator. I was like, I want to go ride that.
So what we did was we took the machine for the excavator and we turned it into a game development rig. So if you're working on video game content with our laptops, you can test it on a big rig to see how it works as a giant game.
All right. So you could build a Roblox game, and then you could go there and test it on a larger computer with more power. All right.
Right. I think to answer your question, probably it's the quality of the studios that maybe surprise people the most, because we really do invest in the technology. The video studio has, a couple of 12K Blackmagic cinema video cameras. People may not be expecting that when you hear about a studio and a library, so that's probably the thing that shocks people the most. And aside from that, just the variety of things, because in the public library world, you will find maker spaces, you will find some versatile studios that do audio and video and some other things. Maybe they've got a green screen, but to have the entire Melrose Center just like this creative hub with all these options in one space, that's that's pretty much the most surprising thing for people.
E-Turn, I want to ask you about like promoting yourself now as compared to like a decade ago, because we are friends with
Oh, you gonna name drop?
hip hop artist D-Rug. That we've only knew about him because
Did you hear? She was like,
I actually don't know him.
Yeah, no, I'm joking.
well, he's out of the game now. But 15 years ago,
We battled.
Why don't you tell her some of his?
well, I can't say any of the songs on the show.
famous-
It's
Okay,
a
that's
little
fine,
different.
that's
Yeah.
fine.
But the point
One of
being,
them was called "Riding Down I-4."
it used to be like he was at Latitudes when we were there doing a radio promotion, and he was handing out demos on a CD.
And he handed one to my wife.
And then that's how we
met
found
him.
out about him. And then, but that used to be a way to promote yourself pre-social media. You know, a lot of stuff like it was just literally going
You had to
downtown,
do that.
handing out demo tapes or CDs. And then now, I mean, I imagine that it's crazy different. So like right now, what do you see artists doing to promote themselves? Because when you promote yourself, it's not necessarily local anymore if you're doing it on social media.
Yeah.
So you can get big around the world really faster than you
internet,
can
yeah.
even do
Right.
local, you know. So how does it work?
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Like you had to do a lot of in-person, you know,
Handing stuff out.
grassroots locally, handing out demos, flyers, trying to sell tickets in the streets for your shows.
Yeah.
I learned a lot of that honestly from Swanberger. Shouts to Swanberger.
Yeah.
He still does that stuff. You know, he keeps that part alive, which I think is important because face to face is different than the internet. It's never gonna be the same thing, you know. But obviously, if you're promoting overseas, around the country, you can't be face to face all the time with people. So. The internet is an amazing tool. Social media is an amazing tool. I think one of the biggest things is creating interesting content. Content is like everything now. So even if it's like even better, like a short clip maybe of you rapping or singing or whatever your genre is, something cool, quick. Yeah, you couldn't really do that back in the day, you know. Just make content like this and just
Right.
drop it. So yeah.
So like new artists, there's still an element of local face-to-face promotion.
I don't think a lot of people do it.
Okay,
As
yeah.
many should, but I do think it's important. Like I would preach that to younger artists because there's just nothing, like I said, like it to have that face to face and people get a chance to like you and feel connected to you and
Yeah.
have that human interaction.
You mentioned Swanberger, and it's like you know he's in Seattle now, and you'll see posts of him like out just doing exactly what you know he would have been doing here, where it's like I'm at this farmer's market and here I come out to the show, you know, like, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess you just should try everything. But yeah, I think that human, and you and I've even touched on that sometimes with what we do. Now that the podcasting kind of the I guess the shine that was there, you know, is gone, and everybody has a podcast.
Yeah.
And those of us that are still doing it and have no way out at this point, you know, we built our own prison. You know,
It's
like
a digital prison, though.
Yeah,
It's a
pretty
good
nice.
one.
It's a digital prison. Yeah. But like to my point is like you do that, and then you're like, well, okay, like I'm gonna have to try that human aspect because this side everybody has this. So the thing that
Yeah,
not
that's
everybody
crazy.
has, the thing that puts me as a unique person
Stands
is that
out,
I
yeah.
am okay talking to humans.
Yeah.
So
yeah. It's way like it's a more of an impression and more of a connection when
yes,
you're
the
actually
relationship
talking
is,
to someone.
The relationship between you and somebody that may have heard you rapping at the Melrose Center, you know, performing, is stronger when they see you in person than it is when they see anything on the
sure.
internet.
Yeah.
And then they can meet you and they can touch you. They can, you know, shake your hand, you know, and then, or maybe you cut your record in that same studio. So I don't know. I mean, like, you know, I don't know. That's good energy to me.
For sure.
So Jim, let's talk about someone that because I had this question. Someone emailed like, do you have to have a library card to go to the Melrose Pop Music Festival?
No, it's just a free event. All ages come in for free. It's going to start at 3:30 on Saturday and at 1:30 on Sunday, and we welcome all.
Yeah, so you don't need a library card. Although when you're there, I suggest you get one.
I would.
Because to go back after the Melrose Pop Music Festival,
It may not be the best time to do it, but I don't know. I mean, like I would say at least investigate it, get your literature, and plan a time when you can, you know.
Yeah, you can get your library card downstairs right when you walk in. So come a little early, get a library card, and when you head up to the Melrose Center, we can give you all you need to take that orientation at your
Awesome.
leisure.
And I'm in Seminole County, and you can buy it for a pretty good price,
Yep.
and it's absolutely still
Yeah.
way worth it.
No,
So,
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
A nominal fee. Like,
Yeah.
you
Yes.
know,
It's
and then
and
you
you
get
can have up to like how many people in your household utilize it?
Yeah, if you pay the one fee of $125, everyone who lives in your household is also eligible for a library card for 1 year.
That's
And with
crazy.
that, you get all of the services, including everything in the Melrose Center. But you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, if
It's
you
so
don't
worth
live
it.
in Orange County, you
Yep.
know, yeah. So,
Absolutely.
and so you know, it's just if you're like thinking, oh, like I have to buy this equipment or whatever, you
Just
know,
put that on Planet Fitness model, man. I want you got to take that money out every year.
Do
and
you have
let's-
showers there, Jim?
if you added that, oh my God.
just all the education and stuff. It'd be just unbelievable.
It's impressive.
what
It
you
really
guys
is.
offer and what people can utilize. And it's great, you know. So again,
Also, Homeboy Sandman, please come and see him because he's a phenomenal artist, and I don't know if you'll ever get that chance to just walk into a free show in a library with Homeboy Sandman.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
I
yeah.
do
Rant
think
is
it's
over.
cool that this is like a real, like, this isn't just a, like, hey, come look at the library. It's like, no, we're going to use the library as a hip hop venue, and then we're
Yo.
going to show you everything that we do inside of it. That's
phenomenal.
cooler. That's way cooler.
yeah, and I'm so pleased that he's seemingly really into the libraries and to
He is
Mel-
a reader. He reads
Okay.
all day,
Yeah.
every day. So
and
yes,
excited about seeing the Melrose Center. So that's fantastic. Yeah, he did a great little promo video for us that we
Oh,
put
that's
up on
killer.
social. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, guys, make sure you go and check it out. Give them the dates one more time, T.
again, Saturday, June 21st, Sunday, June 22nd. OCLS.org is
Yep.
the website. Jim, E-Turn, thanks so
Thank
much
you,
for
guys.
coming by.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. And we
Thank you so
will
much.
be right back.
peace.
All right. Is this lunch?
No, we're going to come back and record just one more segment.
We have one more segment.
And then...
We'll be right back, guys. Please hold.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Squirt.
Squirt who?
Squirt is P, you dumb rednecks.
Right about now, you are listening to the incredible
A Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan, who kindly remind you that squirt is P.
Kick him out.
Oh, it's my fault. No. You did right. You did right. It's like, what are you supposed to do? You know, it's like, it's a delicate dance. He used the wrong link first, and then he said, Dan, I waited 10 minutes on Zoom. Let me know the word.
Oh, yeah, you can tell him to get back on. Say we're just saying bye to a guest.
All right. Cut that out. Get out of here. Get out of here, you. All right. She was good. I forgot that E-Turn is I forgot that she likes to talk. And sometimes people don't like to talk.
Yeah.
They want to expound, on things. Yes.
Speaking of the breakdancing competitions, because I've been watching a lot of them, and then I watch Max will do he'll battle tonight. They'll do a battle at the end of practice, and then they'll have judges, and and I'm trying to figure out how the judges judge it, because it's real difficult.
That's gonna drive you crazy
because
there's subjectivity to it.
It's subjectivity because it's just like
could be like this is the part that'll drive you crazy. What if they're just like I gave Max
like
the
dance.
points because he
is dance.
He had a better vibe.
Well, just
right?
like Maisie gets judged in dance, like it's interesting because and then with battling, it goes beyond the actual dancing to like who you felt got over on the other person.
Right. Yeah.
Because there's like an aggressiveness
yes.
of like they're trying each other.
Yeah.
But it's all part of the art.
Who was more convincible?
Like, I used to think it was more serious before I got into this world, and it's not serious at all. But it's part of, and you're serious. Like, Max will try someone, or, like, you'll make fun of them. Like, if the person's short, you'll do they'll push the elevator button, go down to their level, and then you're making fun of them.
Yeah.
And that's part of the goddamn
you
breaking
need to
battle.
give Max the meanest.
I'm good at being mean. I'm making fun of people. You're right.
I'm the king of it. He's up against some special needs kid.
I think it goes way too far.
And he makes the kid.
Yeah.
The parents have to get involved. He's like, ooh, he's like making faces and doing the. Our president did that.
Yeah, so that's part of it as well, which is interesting. So anyway, I don't know why I brought that up, but it's judging breaking battles is.
Do you want to do the segment and just see if he calls in the middle of it, and if he does, I'll just hammer it and we'll go.
Yeah.
Do you want to do it like that? What were we gonna do here?
We're gonna talk about that.
He says he's linking in right now. Okay, so we should have him in a second.
Good. Well, after I want to talk about the King of the Hill guy that died.
Yes,
and that
I'll tell you
a bizarre story.
Yeah, it's sad. Yep, got him. All right. Whoa. I said I can. Oh, there he is. What's up, Bob?
Hey man, how are you?
Good,
how you doing,
man.
Bob?
Sorry about that. We had people on the couch and we were trying to say goodbye, but you know how that is. All right.
Yeah, you don't want to say goodbye because you think it's the last time you'll ever talk to that person.
It was really we knew you were waiting, Bob, but then we don't want to be like, hey, I feel awkward, like rushing people out.
Like, hey, can you get out of here? We gotta.
No, I understand completely. I got to go. Bye.
All right, you want to start? Let's not waste this time. We already have wasted it enough. All right, and 3, 2.
We just lost a good joke, baby.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time. On the Zoom with us is comedian Bob Zaney.
It's that time of the month, folks.
How
It
you
really
doing?
is, and I've taken my Motrin. Have you too?
Yeah, I have. I've taken it. I'm more of an Aleve man myself.
Bob.
You really are, because I'm relieved every time I see you.
Bob, I got to ask you a question. So, this is, I don't know how many times we've done this segment.
It's like
but
the 6th or 7th time, I think.
It's been a while, and I've been studying your jokes, Bob, and I like them because it's set them up, knock them down.
Yeah.
And I used to write these kind of jokes in radio like a decade ago. And I was thinking that maybe for your next Zany report, if I sent you some jokes, if you'd be willing to do them. Not even a lot of just one. I'll just send you. Yeah. I'll send you 5.
Why
you
don't
can pick
start
one.
with him reviewing the jokes before.
Hang on one second. My God, look at the time. I got to go.
I don't know.
No, that'd be great. No, send me the jokes. Yeah, and I'll get it in. I'll make it funny no matter what.
I love it. I love that. Get him.
And
I've done this the Zany report where the on-air personality will do their joke, then I do mine, and then you do your joke and I do mine, and we'll see who wins. You know. We
Oh,
can do that.
a joke battle.
Joke battle.
We were just talking about
joke battle.
battles.
We were just talking about breakdancing battles.
All right, so next Zany report, we'll do Tom Van versus Zany, Van versus Zany joke battle.
Yeah, okay.
all
Sounds
right.
great.
I think the kids are going to now mark their calendar finally.
Can we pick a decade that we, like maybe 2000, 2010
Okay.
genre?
We're gonna go for like that's peak Monica Lewinsky.
In other words, you already have those jokes. Written down.
Oh yeah, he knows.
No.
He's
You got to go topical, baby. That's part of the deal.
I can poop them out
Unless
fast.
we do a full time capsule.
Okay, all right.
So
What do you got for us, Bob?
Let's get into it.
First off, the Dry Bar Comedy Special about to hit 9 million views on YouTube. I want to thank you guys for your support on that, folks. Check it out. Like it, share it with people, and leave me a message. You can actually leave a comment and ask me what I truly think of Dan's new idea.
Okay, I like that.
Wait, 9 million? You get any? Do you put the ads on there? Like,
Yeah, what
is
do you
there
get?
any money?
What do you get from that?
I get royalties.
Nice.
Which is, you know how many years I've been doing radio and got buckus, and I'm in AFTRA.
Oh, we know because we were in radio.
You know what AFTRA is? It's the American Federation of TV and Radio Artists.
Yeah.
I should be paid every time, but it doesn't matter. Let's get right to it.
Yeah.
Kermit
Hold
the
on,
Frog,
that's a thing. I didn't know that.
It's a union. It was AFTRA. I had to join it at KLOS in 1983, and then they merged with SAG. So I'm SAG-AFTRA, but I was SAG also on its own. So I'm in two unions, even though I don't really know what they do for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you're in SAG, you cannot be on TV or film without being paid, right? It's a union thing, right?
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
But
Let's get right to it.
All right. Sorry, Bob.
Kermit the Frog delivered the commencement speech at the University of Maryland. He told graduates to beware of the military-industrial complex and the man with a hand up your ass to make you speak. It's a puppet joke.
Yeah, I love it. I got one behind me.
Now, the State Department has shut down the Misinformation and Disinformation Office, though this can't be confirmed and may not be true.
That's a classic. That's a classic. I feel like I could.
Look at Dan just sitting there going, I think I could top that.
I was like, let me start thinking now. All right, go ahead, Bob.
I always have a joke here from Las Vegas, my adopted hometown. A man is facing charges after accidentally shooting another man to death. Now, the reason it was ruled an accident, the shooter told police, I was aiming at the apple on his head.
Oh, that apple.
It's a William Tell joke.
This leg or something here in Vegas. Dayline Minot, North Dakota. I was just there actually in May. A man has been sentenced to 10 years in prison for breaking a pane of glass to enter a bank after hours. Now, he told the judge it was an honest mistake. He thought it was a Tesla dealership.
Okay, yeah, all right. There's a lot of hate for those electric
A lot of
cars.
hate out there. Thank you for, as opposed to laughing, just point out the hate.
A lot of hate.
Oh, next month's going to be great. You're really going to regret every time that you even brought it up. You people hurt.
I can't wait,
God.
Bob.
Bob, that was fantastic.
Now we're going to go back in time, though. This also gives Danny a chance to, think about some of the past jokes he wrote. And maybe they're still evergreen, Dan. You never know, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's Tom. Tom's the one that wants to fight you in a joke battle. I'm not. I'm Dan. That's Tom.
You know what? I was actually looking at the logo.
Oh,
yeah.
You're right. The Tom.
Let's go back in time. Okay, you guys. It's October 3rd, 2017. A Mississippi woman robbed a bank and took a taxi home, has been arrested. The driver turned her in because it was his civic duty, and oh yeah, she didn't tip. And there you have it. There's another Zane report in the can. Of course, I'll be at Porky's in November.
Yes.
Very excited about that. I'm hoping you two guys will come out and host tonight.
I'm going to be there for sure. I'm definitely coming.
I know you.
See you.
Tom,
I'm coming to
I
see
know
you.
You will be there.
Well, first Daniel's lying.
No,
Just
I'm
right to your
not.
face.
I'm coming to see. Like we're doing a whole meetup. We're doing a whole zany meetup.
Are you-
The chat room? They're going.
Oh, well, Daniel's friends with the chat room.
Yeah,
Me
I
and
am.
the chat room are mortal enemies.
Yeah, they hate each other.
Can I just say something about this,
Sure.
Tom? And I can talk to you right now, Tom. Can I?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Dan is really good in the chat room because he actually cares about people, whereas you don't. And people sense that.
But I
But
care
that's
about.
what makes you guys such a great show.
There's
Because
no
you're the
difference.
yin and yang.
There's literally no difference between Bob Zaney and your wife right now. Like she said the
Wow.
same thing on the show.
Bob, but you don't understand. The chat room, all they do is bully me and make fun of me the entire show and point out all the things I'm wrong about and
How dumb he is.
yeah, they insult me all the time.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I think that you're doing a great job, and we're going to miss you.
Going anywhere. All right, Bob.
You guys are great.
see
I'll
you,
talk to you
Bob.
next month.
Bye,
Next
And
month.
for the dueling jokes, the Zany Report, that time of the month, baby.
We'll do
We'll
it.
do
Bye,
it.
baby. That is
All right.
Bob Zaney.
I'm gonna write some next month.
I know you
I'm
are.
excited.
You're gonna
now.
forget.
Hey,
You're gonna forget just
Yeah.
like I forgot Bob Zaney was calling in today.
All I need is what's the breaks at a radio? 8 minutes. I can do
I
it
mean,
in
we can
8
start
minutes.
now and do it. What do you think of old Bob Zaney? I thought he was a little ornery at first. I can never read that guy. I can't read Bob Zaney.
Yeah. I don't know why
I don't
he
know.
does it.
I don't know either.
Like, you can't-
Sometimes now I think he's trying to ruin our show.
He is promoting an event in November.
Yeah.
It's way too early.
Well, then he was like, "Hey, do you want me to call
last
in?
year.
Do you want me to call in each month and do like a little segment on the show?" And then because you have rubbed off on me, I was like, "Yeah, sure," because I have a dose of can't say no inside of me now because of you. I used to say no a lot more. You can ask from the beginning of the show when we started. How many years ago? 16 years ago, whatever.
Yeah.
I would say no all the time. Now I'm way more open. Like Bob said he wants to do a bit. I'm like, sure. It's terrible. It's terrible.
I'm not joking.
I enjoy it, but like it's not about what I enjoy. Did you know that? Did you know that this show has nothing to do with what I enjoy? Because if it was, we'd do a lot of Bob Zaney Report. We'd have so much crazy stuff happening all the time.
Well, first I thought you were doing it to bully me because I
No.
couldn't understand.
I think he's doing it to bully us.
And then I was like, well, we're gonna get so much hate mail that we're gonna have to pull it. And then all I got was people saying they loved it.
Yeah, they love it.
And then I'm like, are you bullying me? I'm like, there are people online.
now
they email me like, I love it. And I'm like, no, I'm arguing with them. I'm like, you're lying to me.
Well, there's no way we
You're
can
bullying
not.
me.
We're at least getting another one because you're the open your big mouth, and now we're writing our own Zaney Report.
No, it's a battle, me versus him.
Okay.
We need an
What
audience.
if you
though.
lose? Have you thought about that?
It's a battle to the death. I'll bring a loaded gun and I'll kill myself.
Bud Dwyer yourself right there.
On Twitch.
Get back, get back.
And there's no way they can take it off. Like, it'll go out. Like,
Yeah. It'll go out.
Yeah.
And then before they take it down, I'll lead it. I'll go, clip that. Clip that, please. Because that's all you have to do.
Yeah.
Anything happens in here, like, remember when Samantha was going to pull her teeth out? We could have just easily gone, clip that, and then that's how it works now. And then it would live forever. Oh, my God. You want to do a couple of voicemails?
Oh, no.
Yeah. Sorry, yes.
What I wanted to talk about
Yes.
is yesterday you brought up the King of the Hill reboot.
Oh, yeah.
It was on the BDM show.
Yeah, great job. We killed John Redcorn.
And literally later on that day, I saw the story about the voice actor for him and dying.
Let me get the details.
And it was a bizarre story.
Yeah, I was reading the story from Consequence, and it was really gritty because it had to do with a murder of a dog, I guess. I'm trying to find. Okay, so Jonathan Joss, known for voice acting John Redcorn across 12 seasons of King of the Hill, was shot and killed by his neighbor in San Antonio on Sunday. And just to give you the short of the long, because it's a really sad story, I believe Jonathan Joss was a gay man, and he and his husband had. This is just short of the long because it's a long post.
Jonathan Redcorn was.
Jonathan Joss is the actor's name. John Redcorn is the character he played on King of the
Yeah,
Hill.
yeah. And that character was the Native American.
Yes, but it started with a different guy. For the first season, and then that gentleman died in a car accident. So he took it over from the original first season guy, and he did it from season 2 all the way to now.
Oh my God! It's a curse of Redcorn.
It is the Redcorn curse.
Two different voice actors died.
Yes, the first one in the first season died in a car accident. That's true.
I wonder if that's ever happened. I don't think so.
Probably not.
Like, I know one voice actor died on The Simpsons or whatever, but then have it taken over by another person.
The King of the Hill one is sad because it seems like a lot of these characters were tragic people. Other than Tom Petty dying, people lump that one in there for King of the Hill because he was Luann's boyfriend, Lucky.
Yeah.
But Luann is Brittany Murphy. That was a really sad one. Then you had Dale Gribble I forget the name of the voice actor, but he just recently passed away this last year. And this recent one, what made this one so sad is that Jonathan Joss's husband he claims that I guess their house had burned down, and they were going back to the burned down house to kind of, look at it or whatever. They had some some past fights with the next door neighbor. The next door neighbor,
a feud, like a long-standing feud with the neighbor.
and apparently the neighbor did not like that he was a homosexual man. And now this was in the post that the husband put up. He said that they came back to the house, that the neighbor or someone had killed their dog and put the dog's skull on the doorstep with the dog's leash and collar on top of it. That's enough to make me want to go crazy. Like, I was like, that was wild. And then apparently Jonathan Joss was yelling at the neighbor, whatever. An altercation happened, and then the neighbor shot him a couple times, and he died.
Yeah, it was murder.
It was murder.
Yeah.
100% murder.
And that is nuts.
Yeah. But it sounds like, if I'm being and trying to be respectful, that the actor that played this Jonathan Joss actor, it was rough around the edges. I think he had his foot in things that I don't know. I get the feeling that something else was going on there. Apparently, a couple of days before this, he had gone to a Comic-Con style panel that Mike Judge was at. And Mike Judge and the other creator are on the panel, and they're talking to the crowd. And he approached one of the listener microphones and expressed displeasure in not being asked to go on the panel. Or like maybe he was upset or something. Like, it seems like maybe
weird, awkward thing.
Yeah, it like, I don't know all the details, but we all know that person that it seems like there's a lot of bad stuff going on in their life, and they're spiraling in some way. And this sounds like a bit of a spiral.
Was he involved with the reboot at all? Like the new King of the Hill?
Yeah,
reboot?
he did the entire.
Oh, okay.
He did the John Redcorn. He did all the voice acting, and I think he appears in the second episode of the reboot that comes out in August. So we will see him, but that will be it.
Huh. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. I mean, they better get this thing moving before all the voice actors die.
Well, just to be in that much of a feud with your neighbor to the point where, I mean, this like they claim the neighbor killed the dog, left the dog's skull. Like, that's psycho, And then the house burned down. Was that arson? Or did it accidentally burn down? Like,
See, that's what I mean
huge
by
feud with your neighbor that left the dog's skull?
Yeah.
It's like, that probably burned down your house, right?
That's what I mean by, like, you're spiraling,
like,
because
what?
like, normally you don't, like, get into, like, gunfights with your neighbors or have your house burned down or have your dog killed or, or put the dog's the dog's skull on the, like, as a warning sign, like Lord of the Flies on your doorstep. That's insanity. Like, that's not what...
Yeah, you're just like...
You're involved in something at that point.
Yeah. Like, you couldn't have just done nothing. And, like, this guy hates you for no... Like, I just was polite to him, and he just hates me. He was going to kill me. Like, there's got to be some give and take to the point where it escalated to that.
You would imagine. The Ghost of Manute Bull is kind of clarifying what I was saying. The day before he died, he crashed at King of the Hill panel and went on a rant about not being invited on the stage as a guest. He was in the lobby shining shoes out of protest, and there's a video of it.
So he's a little bit nutty.
I think he was having a minute, like having a
manic, crazy episode.
We all kind of know that person, or maybe we are that person that we can spiral, and I think he was spiraling a little bit. But it's terrible.
Shining shoes in the lobby. That's a.
Yeah, I mean, like, apparently when he talked to the panel, he talked about he and his husband losing their house or it burning down. Like, just, I don't know, like, troubled. Maybe some mental illness. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe some drugs. Who knows?
Yeah. What a bizarre story.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I just get a bad feeling about the reboot. There's a lot of negative energy around it. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it's King of the Hill.
I understand, but it just, you know.
Yeah. And so many people that's like I think they're realizing like all these shows that were pre the explosion of the internet and on demand everything like got so many views that there's so much brand equity built that you have to capitalize on it somehow.
We're even thinking about that.
You know, it's like because there was a time where there's so little things to watch that each thing that was out got such bigger numbers comparatively to now. Then you're like, well, let's reboot it somehow because people just know the brand.
Yeah.
Like people knew King of the Hill, no matter if it was good or bad. It was like you had to watch it because there was less things on. And so, even though King of the Hill was a well-written show and is good.
Yeah, I always thought it was a great show.
But, it's like the same thing with like MASH and like all these other things that had gigantic numbers because there were less stuff. I'm surprised that no one came out with a current day version of MASH. And, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm sure they've tried. I mean, if they
I
tried.
wonder why not.
Remember that
Hot Lips just passed away.
Yeah, she did.
I saw that
Is it
on
true
social media.
that originally she was called that in the show and it had nothing to do with the lips on her face? That there was almost like an unsightly, mature joke there?
I don't know.
Or is that just some sort of internet garbage that floated? Because whenever somebody dies, the amount of like fun facts that come out that could be true or not true are endless.
Yeah. I wrote it down to talk about that, and we forgot. But so
Tilda Swinton.
When that interview, like, and we should go back and
you
find
want me to dig that thing up?
It
was really hard to talk to her.
Yeah.
It was hard to talk to Tilda Swinton.
Yeah. Well, I remember that she wanted to talk about
easier than Bob Zaney. Easier than I'll say it. It's easier to talk to a dead Tilda Swinton than it is to talk to Bob Zaney. Bob Zaney I can't read Bob Zaney, dude. I can't read him. I don't know how to read that guy. I don't know if he's mad at us. I don't know if he likes us, if he hates us. He doesn't know our names and never has. Every time he calls me Tom. Or he calls you Danny. Every time.
And then I try to push past it so I don't want to embarrass him, but I don't think
he doesn't get embarrassed. I mean, look at him. He's like standing outside of Stuckey's in Nevada, yelling into his phone at us.
Yeah. But again, though, why does he do it?
I don't know. Because he's crazy. Because he's crazy. Why did the neighbor put the dog's skull on the doorstep? Same guy.
Why did Redcorn shine the shoes?
Yeah, why is Redcorn in the lobby shining shoes at the King of the Hill party? Some things just don't make sense, man. Oh, Loretta Swint. Did I call her Tilda Swint?
Oh, okay, yeah.
I thought it was. What? Who's Tilda Swint?
Just say Hot Lips.
Hot Lips time. I don't know any old people.
Anyway.
She was hot though.
And
very beautiful.
Even up until her older age, that's.
I get curious.
Yeah.
About the real old, extreme old. I'm talking about like.
Everybody's like, oh, the experience, but I'm like, but the lack of physical mobility has to take away from any experience. You see what I'm saying? Like, and there's only so much experience you could have, and then when you get older, you're doing it less. So that experience you had 20 years ago is like, an old man BMX biker. Like he can maybe do one half 360, but he can't stand on the tire and do the thing where
have you seen
can't move that well.
Have you seen the dad at
So what does it matter?
Have you seen the dad at the lake party that gets on the BMX bike and he goes down the mountain to go off the ramp because all the BMXers are doing it? And it's exactly what you're referencing. It's an old BMX man. And
his son's a BMX. He's like, I still got it.
And he still got it. And he goes down. And when he hits the lip, he ragdolls off and he does like a
Yeah.
But he lands right in the water. He could have died. Like the way he flies, like if he had landed on his neck, he would have instantly been killed.
That's how I'll die. I know it now.
Do you think so?
Yeah. Like my dad died in a hurricane. I'll die trying to impress my sons and their friends, thinking I still got it. Like I used to jump things and then I die because I'm so.
Do you ever get the itch about like wanting to get back out there and jump something? Because it's been in the
only to impress my sons.
No, that's what I mean.
Yeah. But they're not impressed by anything I do. So that's
what you got to do? You got to create a Roblox character, and you got to secretly go in Roblox, and you got to jump something in Roblox. You got to go with their love language.
I told them about the Roblox idea. Like me and Mr. Daniel.
Yeah, we're going to build a game.
I'm like, we're going to build a Roblox game, and we're going to make it Tom and Dan. And then I'm like, are you even listening to me? They're just playing Roblox.
They walked out.
They're just playing. They're like, wow.
I'm sorry. We got sucked into Roblox.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow.
Awesome. All right. Now it's lunch.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. Sorry